Now, I want to welcome back to the program the author of The Amateur, Ed Klein, who was on with us last night and broke some very important information. Thank you very much for coming back.
Thanks for being here.
We talked at length last night on television and on radio this afternoon, and we got into a figure that's been largely left out of this. I want to go right to it. Valerie Jarrett.
Right.
Valerie Jarrett was influential in the president's decision to call up the bin Laden raid.
3 times.
3 times. Where is she here?
We don't know, but we only can assume that every action that the president takes, and he said so, he's on the record saying, I don't take any actions without passing it by Valerie Jarrett. So we have to assume that Valerie Jarrett, who is also, by the way, hooked into the Chicago campaign.
Pipeline.
Yeah, she has a direct pipeline to David Axelrod. That she was part of this whole cover-up in the White House. In addition to that, I want to say one other thing. In addition to Valerie Jarrett, the CIA got cables, the Department of Defense got cables, the NSA got cables during the attack on Benghazi, in addition to the emails that have since been made public. We know that there are cables that we haven't seen yet confirming the State Department cables that this was a al-Qaeda-linked attack.
So if everybody knew this, including the White House, who would have given the order to go in to save the ambassador?
The president. He should have given the order to use the rapid reaction force.
Not Panetta, not Petraeus.
Well, it has to come from the president.
So Marines, soldier station in Italy, not too far away.
It could have been flown there in an hour and a half.
The president, even if Petraeus and Panetta wanted this, they would have to go to the president and say, Mr. President, we need the go-ahead. We've got to get in there and protect Ambassador Stevens.
Give us the green light. Right.
So since no forces were sent in,
nobody was moved. And they had the opportunity to do so. They had hours and hours to do this. And yet they knew about it, and they sat on it. And the question that is unanswered, as far as we're concerned, is why did the president sit on this? And who advised the president to do what? What was Valerie Jarrett saying in his ear at the same time? Did he check with his campaign in Chicago about what he should do and shouldn't do? I wouldn't doubt any of those things.
So the order couldn't have been given without the president, and the order wasn't given. So that means the president knew what happened because of the drone video and these emails.
Absolutely.
Where is David Petraeus in all this? He's a military guy. He had to be. I know he's loyal. I know he knows his role as a soldier, but he's not a soldier anymore. He's in the CIA. He had to be standing there saying, Mr. President, you can't let this embassy fall.
We assume so. But, you know, I have nothing against General Petraeus, who no longer is general. He's the head of the CIA, but he's in civilian clothes now. He, from the age of 18, when he went to West Point, to the time he finally resigned his 4-star commission, he always obeyed the orders coming from on top. So once again, I think that Petraeus and the Secretary of Defense, the entire administration had to get a nod and an agreement from the President of the United States to deploy American forces to save these American lives. No. And they didn't get it.
For the record, you've been doing this for a long time. New York Times Magazine, Newsweek, Vanity Fair. You're not a fresh out of journalism school graduate.
Right.
You've been covering this for quite some time.
Right.
You know the Clintons. The Obamas and the Clintons have a very behind-the-scenes tense relationship.
To put it mildly.
To put it mildly. I said to you last night, and I think I stand corrected, that it seemed like Obama out-Clintoned the Clintons. But Clinton seems to have gone along with all of this because he knew that Hillary would be exonerated in the end. It's almost like she knew that if cards were going to be played, what cards she held. Now, the question I have for you is she going to leave this administration? If they want to pull the final card here, she can walk out the door.
And they know it.
With less than 2 weeks, and he's done.
That's right.
Is she going to leave?
No.
She's going to stay?
I can't imagine that she would resign, because if she resigned, as you say, it would bring down the entire administration. He would lose the election. and she would be essentially
to blame.
blamed by the left-wing base of the party.
Now, where does Bill stand on this?
I checked that out just before I came here on your show. I called some of my sources. They say that Bill Clinton...
And your sources are on the...
My sources are in the legal team that the Clintons have put together to advise Hillary on what she should say if she's subpoenaed, what documents she has to make public if they are subpoenaed, and so forth. And this legal team, these people tell me that Bill has been urging her to release more, I shouldn't say more, to release, who knows who released these documents we've seen so far, but to exonerate herself by releasing the documents that prove that, according to him, that she actually asked to beef up the security in Benghazi.
But if she releases this, it's just as good as her walking out, because if she says, I'm not to blame here, it goes to the White House. He didn't send, we know how this works. He still loses. She's still to blame.
That's right. And so therefore she's arguing back and in fact not taking Bill's advice. They've had big fights about this for weeks now, for 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, they always fight about everything. It's part of their marriage. And he wants her to release this, and she will not, because she says ultimately she'll be exonerated and she will not be tarred with the blame for bringing down this administration.
If she couldn't provide this security, if she was asking for security,
right,
who was she asking, and who would be in position to say no?
Well, you can only imagine that if she's asking for more beefed up security, she has to go through either the CIA, Special Ops, or the Pentagon. But none of that would happen without the National Security Advisor to the President of the United States, Tom Donilon, going to the President and saying, we want to send reinforcements to Libya because our ambassador is in jeopardy. Mr. President, is that okay? And what did he say? Apparently he said, not yet, my friends.